right, so we're at our new lot in Dorchester. We just bought this about a couple weeks ago. It's fenced in, rectangular area right here. This is probably about a year out for us. We have to take this through zoning. Right now we're taking what's a little bit of a gamble, right? We spent about $200,000 on the lot, this piece of lot right in the heart of Dorchester, and our goal is to put either 3 or 4 units on the piece of property. So one of the things that you have to consider when you're buying land like this is if we can only get a single family here, this land is a lot. We probably overpaid for the land. If we can get a 2-family, we will probably end up building it and probably selling it. But our goal is obviously to keep everything that we have, so we're going to go for 3 or 4, and everything is about, you know, economies of scale. That 3 or 4, that 3rd or 4th unit is going to allow us to get enough rent in to justify the cost of the building, the cost of the land, and everything else. So one of the things that we had to think about as we're going in is, what is the likelihood of us getting 3 or 4 units here? And then we just looked around the neighborhood and we're like, hey, well, there's a 3-family there, there's a 3-family there, there's a 3-family right next door, there's 3 families all down the street, there's a 6-unit across the street. So the likelihood is high, right? The likelihood is high, but we still have to go through what's called the neighborhood process and everything else. The neighborhood process is us talking to our abutters. Your abutters are the people that live next to your lot, the people that are in your neighborhood, and just making sure that they're okay with it, right? Because the other thing is, we can propose a 5-unit building here. Our abutters are probably not going to have something nice to say about that, right? So we have to kind of conform with the neighborhood. The other big thing about Boston as well is parking. You know, Boston's a very congested city, so anytime that you're trying to build something is, where are you going to put parking? And if I'm a neighbor, if I'm in one of your abutters, then my concern is, okay, you're bringing 3 more families into the neighborhood, 4 more families into the neighborhood. Where exactly are they going to park, and are they going to take parking on our street? So one of the things that we did, and we'll take you around the other side, is not only do we own this lot, but there's an L-shaped lot on the other side where we actually plan on putting 3, 4, maybe 5 parking spots and as we go through the planning process. So that's what we'll be presenting to the neighborhood. So it's not only your abutters, but you also have to talk to the neighborhood associations. You have to go out through each of the neighborhood associations. For instance, you might have a local, neighborhood associations, which is more like, 3 or 4 different streets. And then you might have a larger one, which is like the community as well. We want to talk to them and present our plans to them before we go to the city. Once we go to the zoning board, the ZBA board, we're going to sit down with them. We're going to present our plans to them. And here in Boston, I believe there are either 5 or 9 members on the zoning board. I can't remember exactly the number. And they basically vote to either approve, reject, or reject without prejudice, meaning you go back and you can redraw it or present something different. And a lot of their approval or rejection is going to go based on how much support do we have from the neighborhood. So have we talked to the neighbors? Have we gathered letters of support? So part of me and the development team's process job is to not just think about working with the architect and what can we build here and how many units and the financial side of it, but it's also going around and garnering support from the neighbors and going and knocking on the doors and saying, hey, my name is Willie, here's what I plan on putting here. What do you think about this? You don't like the design, you don't like the height of it? Okay, let's see if we can make some adjustments. Do you think you're worried about parking? Here's what we're gonna do to accommodate parking. You're worried about, the effects on the neighborhood? Here's how that building is going to change the neighborhood. So if we can gather some letters of support, I think last time we went to the zoning board for a project, we had roughly 25 letters of support, and there were 3 letters of opposition or objection. And the zoning board said, okay, well, the majority of the neighborhood and the majority of the people who have spoken in support of this project. It fits within the neighborhood. There's nothing outstanding. There's nothing, you're not asking for 6 units in a 2-family neighborhood. It fits. So we are going to go ahead and approve this project. This process could take 6 months. It could take a year. The last one we did was in the middle of the pandemic. It took us closer to 18 months to get everything through, but it was still very, like I said, it can be very lucrative. Sometimes what a developer will also do is get something permitted and not build the building. They'll get something permitted and say, now I have a lot, I own the lot, it's permitted, it's ready to go. I'm going to sell the entire package with the plan to another developer and have them take on the risk of building it. For us, we're buy and hold rental investors. Our plan is to buy this lot, get it permitted, get it through zoning, and actually build the 3 or 4 units here and hold this for the long term. This process can be expensive. The cost of the land again was $200,000. We'll probably end up spending about, if I had to take a guess, rough estimate based on my experience, about another $75,000. Getting it through the zoning process. We have to hire a zoning attorney to represent us. We're going to hire an architect. We have to go get plot plans or survey the land. And then we also have to go get structural, plans. We have to go get Boston water and sewer plans. How is it going to connect to the city? Obviously, it's raw land right now, but there's going to be water connections. There's going to be sewer connections, sprinkler plans. There's all types of other, plumbing and electrical and all the other type of plans that we need. And then we're going to need a street occupancy permit. As we're building this, we're going to be taking up the majority of this sidewalk. The sidewalk that we're sitting on, there's going to be trucks and materials and everything moving in here. So we're going to need a street occupancy permit, and there's a cost to doing that as well. So a lot that goes into it, but it can be pretty lucrative. Just to give you kind of an idea, $200,000 for the land, probably $75,000 to permit it. We're into it for $275,000 when it's all said and done. The package itself, if everything done correctly, could be worth $400,000 when it's all said and done. If we can get the 4 units, that's at least $100,000 per unit. That'll be, that somebody or developer on the opposite end will pay for the land and the package altogether. So just by getting a permit, we've probably increased the value of this property $125,000 at least. So hopefully that makes sense. That's a little bit about the zoning process and getting things through to permit it to actually build.